Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, which continues to explore yesterday's theme, which was about how elderly men put on their trousers and perform other such mundane tasks that we may single out for examination. It is true that a man's age may be guessed by his physical agility, but I always find it's handy to look at his face. Sniping comments about what was talked about yesterday, but the title of this message is Old Fellas Bending Down.
Yes.
I heard Sean blethering, and he doesn't spell blethering properly. He spells it the old Irish way, B-L-E-A-T-H, blethering. I heard Sean blethering yesterday about bending down, splaying out, and signs of ageing. Apparently a psychotherapist once told me that there are important measures of ageing. This is something they use when they're assessing patients. That doesn't apply to us. It's like when the people come up and decide how much brew you need, and they have a look at you to see how you're getting on, how you're sprackling about. Middle age, apparently, according to physiotherapists, is defined as sitting down to put on your socks and shoes. You've been doing that since you were 11. Old age is...
Well, can you put your trousers on standing up?
I didn't say that.
No, but can you? I'm asking.
I can.
We'll come back to what I mean. Of course you can. Or do you sit on the edge of the bed and slip them on?
I do not.
Do you?
I don't.
I bet you do.
I don't. Listen, let me tell you.
Okay.
And I tell you no when I tell you that I stand there like a man and I grasp my trousers with a brawny hand and I open them up.
And what do you hold on to?
The tops of the trousers, and I jump into them.
No, but with your other hand.
I don't hold on to anything. I maintain balance. I know. On many occasions I am standing on the one leg. Like
Janice says you're telling lies.
I'm not telling lies.
I've got great balance.
I know you have. Middle age is defined...
Can you lift one leg up? I asked you this before. Can you lift one leg up and wash the sole of your foot in the shower?
I have never stood on one leg in the shower and washed the sole of my foot on the principle that whilst one is standing in the water, the sole is being washed automatically.
It's a little exercise, and it helps your balance.
You're the only man I know who decides that the sole of his foot is dirty and requires it to be washed. I have never done that. I can stand on one leg like a crane, or indeed a heron. I watch herons live outside our house. I study them. There's one outside just where I live, and he's called Stanley.
The secret of it is, see, when you're washing the sole of your foot, concentrate on the foot that you're washing and not the foot that you're standing on. Because people tend to do it. People think, oh, I'm standing on one foot, I'm going to fall. If you concentrate on what you're doing, washing your foot, the foot that you've raised...
I think you will find that when you talk about many people do the wrong thing, I think you'll find that many people do not consider any of what you're saying as a thing that they do at all. I would imagine that any person who would stand on his one leg in a shower washing his sole of his foot deserves anything that happens to him, because he could well slip and break his hanch.
But you see, I do it as a little test.
Middle age is defined as sitting down to put on your socks and shoes. That's what physiotherapists say. Old age is defined as what? Sitting down to put your underpants on. Dublin's Spike is nicknamed the nail in the pail. We have the hags with the bags and the tart with the cart. Which wag will come up with a similar name for our own Bridge of Peace, otherwise known as the bridge on the River High? I have never seen anything like what I've witnessed over this past few days, because almost overnight our city has come alive with the sound of people being normal.
Right.
People walking across our bridge and looking at various vistas that they never looked at before and saying, hello, how are you? It's as if they haven't spoken to each other for 40 years, and many of them haven't. It's a great, great thing. But you know the way in Dublin, remember they had the big clock in the Liffey? What did they call that? The time in the slime.
Right.
Do you remember the floozy and the jacuzzi?
Right.
What do you call James Joyce with a walking stick?
Don't know.
No, you can't say that.
Okay.
No,
I know. Yes, I know now.
The floozy and the jacuzzi. What was the other one? What was the other one? I can't remember the other one. But anyway, there's one for our Peace Bridge. Finally, the people have got round to christening it with a humorous little term. Do you know what it's called?
No.
And I think you should puff your chest out with pride and say to yourself, by thunder, this is how I'll be remembered. They're going to call it the coil on the foil. Because it doesn't go straight across.
That's right.
It zigzags. So it's like a coil.
It's like a pig's tail.
Or a pig's.
No, a pig's tail.
So there you are, you're immortalised. So there you are, Stroke City and Coil in the Foil. The two of us, we've got our little claim to fame on our headstones, and I hope we'll be buried side by side, Sean.
Yes.
And I hope on mine will be Jerry Anderson, 1958. 2000, whatever it is. Gerald Michael Anderson lies in the spot. He named his city Stroke.
Yes.
Are you also in your shelter?
Inventor of the Anderson shelter.
Yeah. Yeah, Stroke.
Named his own city
Stroke
Stroke because he
City.
didn't like the way it was named before him. And beside him, Sean Aloysius Thaddeus Coyle, who never did nothing. No, who never did nothing bad. But the Priest Bridge was named after him. It was called the Coyle and the Foyle. Isn't that wonderful?
I think, yes. I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The presenters decided not only to talk to the animals, but to grunt and squeak and squawk with the animals. I know that's from Dr. Dolittle, but he stole it anyway. Do you know what I did yesterday? I did the most unusual thing. I put myself in the mind of an animal. I went out for a bit of a walk yesterday. I was running in between, and I came across this herd of cows, right? Mm-hmm. And do you know the way they've all got these little yellow tags on their ears, and there's a number on them?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what that means, but don't tell me. I think it means something bad.
Right.
It tracks their beef.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I saw a farmer, and I was standing there by the side of the road, and I looked at the farmer, and he seemed to be talking to them. You know? And I didn't know what he was doing, but I was trying to imagine this conversation. So I said to myself, right, I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of cows, and they've all got yellow things with their numbers on them. And I'm saying, hello, 431. How are you? Is the grass okay for you? Listen, I'm going to try and get some more for you. Is it okay? How many stomachs do you have now? 3? 3 stomachs? That's okay. Listen, you look after your end, you chew away, and I'll do the other end. I'll look after the milk and get ready. And when you're ready to be killed, I'll let you know. You know, I knew your mother, 418. Oh, she was great. She was so tidy. You want to see her? You don't remember much about her because you were only a calf then. We took her away, you know. They're taking them out of our pen now. We took her away, but, do you know, she was very tidy. The tidiest field. She tidied every blade of grass. I swear to God. And her father, you probably wouldn't know that. That was your father. And he was, 432. And he was the best at crack. Him and 321, they were always joking and they were laughing and carrying on. And, you know, they're always talking and having a bit of a fag in the corner. And all the other cows were lying there and their feet and their legs were up in the air and they were killing themselves laughing. But do you remember the fella? Do you remember your old grandfather, the bull? Do you remember him? You don't remember him at all. He was number one, of course. He was some pup. I'll tell you what. After a couple of bottles of stout, he could fairly go through that herd. Oh, they're all sitting there with their legs crossed, with their legs coming. You have no idea. Anyway, look, good luck now, and you work away at that grass there. I'll be back soon. That's what you talk to cows.
That's what farmers say to cows.
That's what they say. The presenter's training for the New York Marathon grinds on relentlessly. He pounds the roads like a man obsessed. He now resembles a butcher's dog, and a six-pack is making an appearance for the first time, poking out from his belly. God knows how far he can push himself before he crashes and burns. They know what they have to do,
right.
And anyone who donates they write their name and they say why they're donating. So if Noel Thompson decides to send me £1,000, he
yeah.
Did I say something funny there?
No, but what?
If Noel Thompson decides to send £1,000, he'll write £1,000. Noel Thompson, good man, Jerry. I felt as if you deserve it. He can write stuff like that.
Noel's getting different angles.
There's new lighting. No, it's new lighting.
Is that? No, but there's different angles.
A different angle.
There's different
angles.
angles.
Obviously a different producer doing the 6 o'clock news.
It looked impressive last night.
It looked like Gone with the Wind.
But tell me, is Angie's shadow gone?
I don't know. It looked like Gone with the Wind. Do you know the colouring in Gone with the Wind? Or Rhett Butler? Mm-hmm. You know, that kind of tan but shiny thing?
Yeah.
As if he's standing in the sunset.
Yeah.
The sunset. That's what Noel and, what do you call her? Thingamay. Donna, sorry.
Just think away. That's lovely.
No, I'm sorry.
Poor Donna. Sorry about
sorry,
that,
Donna. No, I'm sorry. Donna's a dear friend of mine. And I just forgot her name there for a moment.
Donna grabbed Noel's arm last night.
I know.
Did you see that?
That's only the start of it.
I
can see a little affection growing there.
Yeah.
I see whenever you're working with each other, you know, the way it is. You know, you and Janet are very close.
Yeah.
Me and Emma are going to run away.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This happens. You know, office romance.
Yeah.
What can I say?
But what about Angie or Shadow?
Angie's shadow is still there. The main, I noticed they've done nothing to Stephen Watson because there's nothing they can do with him. But I noticed that the two main protagonists, Noel and Donna, they're filming them from another angle, and they're bathing them in a very flattering.
Noel looks very happy, doesn't he?
He's very happy. They're bathing him in a kind of a Technicolor light, and it looks like kind of those old it's like John Wayne, you know. In those old coloured...
See, Noel is a part-time thespian, isn't he?
Isn't
he? But he is. Noel's a song and dance man. Soft shoe shuffle
No, he's a singer.
man.
He's not
Yeah,
a...
he's a dancer as well.
No, he's not a dancer.
He's a soft shoe shuffle boy.
Yes,
He does, sure, he did it on Children in Need.
And then he's a thing is done on children in need that people are ashamed of. One of the listeners, a Seamus Heaney, Nobel Prize winner, takes a keen interest in the content of the show and often fails to stop himself from joining in. This has mixed results usually. I'm very pleased to see that the bridge has been renamed Coyle and the Foyle. It's good that Mr. Coyle gets some recognition at last. But I was very disappointed to hear that he was considering busking at the end of the bridge, considering singing Dave D. Doty Beaky Mickintitch Zabadak. So I thought I'd look at the words, and I'm pleasantly surprised to find that there's a little scansion there. And I look at the onomatopoeia and I said to myself, that's quite satisfactory, because after all, I'm in the middle of writing a thin tome which will be in your shops very shortly. So I said to myself, I'll just run those words over my mouth and see how it sounds. Zabadak. And Karakakora Kakarakak. Zabadak. Shy, Skagalak. Very strange you should mention Skagalak. It reminded me of the Skagerrak, which, as you well know, is a body of water which flows, it's a strait, I suppose you would call it, between Denmark, Sweden and Norway. The Skagerrak, I'm sure you've heard of it. The Vikings battled it on their way to the monasteries of Ireland to rob us of our valuables on the way. Zabadak, Karakak, Zabadak, Shy, Skagalak. And it goes on in a similar vein. Look for meaning, not in words, but in the way you're feeling. If it's love, we'll understand, for love is all revealing. Now, these are the words of Dave D. Dozy Beaky Mickintitch, I have to say, because they wrote the bloody thing. Like a rhythm, like a spell, it sets your soul in motion. Love that sure could rule the world, a tide to turn an ocean. That's a wonderful turn of phrase there, I have to say. I quite admire that. You know I'm capable of admiring other poets. Zabadak, Karakakora Karakak, Zabadak, Shy, Skagalak. It goes on in a similar vein. Zabadak, Karakakora Karakak, Zabadak, Shy, Skagalak. And then finally, Zabadak, Karakakora Karakak. And that's the end of it. A fine climax at the end, I have to say. I admire those lads. And I look forward to hearing you on the Protestant end of the bridge on the river High to sing Skagalak. I've lost control.
Who sent you that? Where'd you get that?
That's me talking.
Was it? Worse.
Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow.